Welcome back to another acting analysis and tips for animators, and today I'm going to talk about the fantastic show Ted Lasso. I'll be covering mostly the beginning of the season because towards the end I just started to just relax and watch the show because it's so good. So most of the notes are for the first kind of 1 to maybe 3 episodes, and then some sprinkled episode 4, 5, and 6 spot. Also spoilers, not gonna show you the end. But before I do, if you're new to this channel, hi, my name is JD and I do things like these, like the acting analysis clips, I do animation analysis clips, I do lectures about animation topics, I do rig reviews, product reviews, I post my workshop, animation news, all kinds of things. So if that is something of interest to you, feel free to browse around my channel and subscribe if you want to. And that is that, you know, the drill, the spiel, the pitch on YouTube. But now let's go straight to Ted Lasso because I have a ton to talk about. First up, we have, sorry, it already makes me laugh. This guy has, actually, I'm blanking on his name as an actor, but he has throughout the show so many fantastic pantomime reactions. So she tells him, all right, let's go and sit down. And then he has that. He's just not really the nicest guy here. And then he knows, okay, something's up. And look at this. After this, he has the, oh, haha, yeah. Ooh, he has so many of those in the show. So if there's only one character you want to watch in the show, it's this guy. He's fantastic. So just the reason why I'm showing you this is because when you have something where that might be the lip sync, and as always, if you've watched some of my acting analysis clips, you know this, where maybe you're not super comfortable with lip sync, and that is the character that has the lip sync. So you don't have to do too much. There's a bit of jaw movement, maybe some cheek stuff, just kind of hinting at it, but it's all about him reacting. What I love about this is that he has that initial reaction of, yeah, oh, yeah, okay, good joke, because he knows that he can still see him. And then as he turns away, he's got that, oh, that actual reaction with almost like a little, you know, eye dart here towards her with the actual reaction of, okay, I know what's going to happen. So for me, this is, and she has the look towards him. She knows, so good. Because she knows she's going to rip this guy apart. That's so good. All those characters are so good. So again, if you have something with lip sync, think about, well, maybe it's more interesting for the other character that you want to animate because that character is reacting to that person saying something, blah, 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 lip sync. But also, it's not just one reaction. Like, how far can you go? Like, this is a pretend reaction, and that's the more honest reaction right after that. So there's a lot of stuff that you can layer in terms of pantomime when you react to a character who does the actual lip sync. Speaking of reaction and face, there's so many. I mean, there's so much in this show I want to talk about. It's just, I'm a big fan of introductions and surprises, and just something where something enters a screen. I'm always thinking, what if that's your reel? You got your name, you got character animator, your year, 2020, whatever, and your email. And then bam, this shows up. And it doesn't have to be a static thing. This could already be something playing on your phone, which is already something that you animated. So you're showing it off on here, and then it continues into whatever you have here. I love his reactions. I mean, he is fantastic throughout the show. His reactions and that guy's face. So there are a couple of things here. Let me just go back. Look at his reaction throughout the sequence. So let's continue. So he wants a selfie, and he immediately goes in with an arm. He doesn't really know him. He for sure doesn't know him, but it's already very familiar, potentially too familiar. So think about that when you have character interaction. How close do you want characters to be? Is this character doing kind of a invasion of the privacy bubble? How will then this character react to this kind of intrusion? So think about that in terms of distance between characters. What is this going to be? How is this going to affect this character? And I love, he's constantly has those eyebrows. Look at that. But here's the other thing here. So he has that, hey, and you can see that quick reaction, for the selfie. Now, this is something that you can do. It doesn't have to be a selfie. It could just be something where someone is put on the spot to react. But that's a good thing for you in terms of gear change. This could be whatever emotion the character is in, then the pretend one, and then back to the other one. But how do you get back? Is it quick? Is it numb? Is he more annoyed than before? I think there's a lot of stuff you can pretend that you can do in terms of pretending to do a selfie in terms of being excited about it or not. Then we have more discussion. I'm loving this. That, like how he talks, how much white here you see with the eyeballs here. Just think, look at that. I just love this. He has a lot of really cool head darts and moves that are just like, that's just an insane face. But thinking about that as you act, it doesn't have to be just something that's just a bit more original and gives a bit of a crazed fan type of feeling. And I love how he just has always kind of the polite face of, yeah, that's going to be okay. He's got this reaction, and this is the next one, right? So he does something where he doesn't quite understand enthusiasm or whatever is going on with his character. And look at this. He's got the, okay, just that look of, I wonder what's going to happen next. And it's something where even if you have, for instance, him doing lip sync, you can cut away and again go back to a character reacting to what that guy is saying. And then love this here too, like his over-exaggerated that thing forward where it's okay to close your character's eyes and close it for a longer period of time. Like how exaggerated do you want your head accent to be? Does that head accent go into a body accent where it's just that exaggerated move? Look at this, the tiny little head darts there, or the little head shakes. There's so much in there just in pantomime. And again, him listening, just a tiny little head nod there. Very tense face here. I mean, this whole show, you can just watch. This cracks me up. You can just watch without the sound on, and there's so much in there, and this goes on and on and on. It's just a really, really great sequence there. And this one, again, it's all about reactions and pantomime. So she does the introduction. So this is Higgins here. And it's already how he says hi. It's not quite the salute. There's a little bit of a change in the fingers. That already is very original and cute. So she tells him, all right, let's go. And he has, again, these awesome expressions and changes. Like, oh, I just want to talk to them and blah, blah, blah. And she has that, come on, I got to do this here. He goes, of course. And I love that. It's just purely in the face and the arms. Look at that face expression. It's just so good, all the stuff that he does. And then she has that little, all right, well, let's go and let's just talk, the two of us. So he has to go. And the awesome thing here is that actually there's so much that's awesome about this whole thing. The main thing I want to talk to you about is his reaction here. But again, you watch his whole show, there's always something. Like her just kind of resting face here. Okay, all right, let's go. And then him. So good. That moment of, all right, so what are we going to talk about? And like, let's have a seat. All right, let's have a seat. And this is so good. That moment of looking, then you got the eyebrows, all right, with a little bit of a shoulder back, then you got the shoulder up, and then a bit of a head dart, or the head shake there. Watch this. It's so good. You can watch this over and over and over. I know you don't want to because you want to move on here, but so good. Just so many things where, again, lip sync, you have to stay within the rhythm and what they're saying. And whenever there's a pause, this is you. This is now your acting moment where you can do something like this. How is a person going to fill in the maybe awkward silence or just the waiting aspect of, okay, what now? Such a good moment there. Back to her. She is taking the stage here and very confident. A lot of people are somewhat afraid of her. She makes a joke here. Everybody's reacting. Love this guy's face too here. And then she goes, all right, well done. Any other things? And he kind of under his breath, he says, well, something. Like, I don't spoil two things, but something else going on here. And then he looks and then realizes that she just doesn't want to have it. And look at her. There's no blinking, no nothing. It's just the stare. And then really, I love this. It's just a tiny move up with the head. It's just the questioning, the authority, the eyebrows going up, and then his reaction, the swallow, no. So good. So good. Just that, you don't have to do much, but when you just keep staring, no blinking, just a small little moment, you know she's not going to take this. And he realizes, all right, there's no way out of this. All right, okay. And then she has that thing of, okay, well, he gets it. And then look at the blinks. Very slow, a lot of holding here of the closed eyes. She's not flustered, she's not nervous, a lot of confidence in this. All right, well, let's get back to this. She does her, going back to let's talk about this and exaggerated eyebrows and gestures. She's talking to a crowd and she's kind of pretending type of thing. And again, back to reactions. The things that she says, you can see his reaction with the look over with this, which again is not huge in terms of animation. It's like a held face with a overall body turn. But again, and I'm repeating myself, I know, but there's so much you can do with lip sync. You might introduce shot one is the character talking, but then the rest is all about other people reacting what she is saying. So good. And this continues on with him as well. With the looks. And I know in animation this might not work for your shop. It's basically just this, and it's more, successful because of the context and how she talks, but all those moments here, all those reactions are so good. So again, the show is just absolutely fantastic in terms of pantomime and reactions, and again with her. Okay, and that's it. Thank you. Just the exaggerated moves and pretending to talk to that audience. And this is the best part here. He gives one clap. And then, okay, I'm the only one clapping. And it's so good. It's got that slight enthusiasm. And then, okay, yay. And he wants to kind of continue with a little yay, but no one else does anything. He is just so good. And he goes back into just pantomime. How much can you do on your own? This could be the end of the shot, the end of the lip sync. It's just that moment of, okay, I'm the only one, with a slight eye dart, realizing, nope, I'm the only one here. And then doing his little thing here, almost hoping to see, what is this guy going to do? Nope, I'm by myself. So good. And staying back on him, he tells her that Ted Lasso is such a good choice, so good, what a great person to invite for this team. But then she has her thing of saying, no, he's horrible, he's absolutely horrible. Now look at this. So this is when he says, it was such a good idea. You can see that's such a good choice here. And he has that look, he wants to get approval, he's got a bit of a hop up and down in the root here, the little tippy toes. And then she goes, he's such a, I want to repeat what she says here. Also staging wise, it's really neat. You can have that character in the background looking, and you have it out of focus. Goes back to her, a bit bigger with facial features, so you can kind of go back and forth with your character animation there. And then she says, no, she's a complete idiot. That's not the word she used. I'm not going to repeat it here. And then you have his reaction. What? I love this, that change. What? And I know she moves around, so he has to lean over. But it's such a good moment of, that's his, what he thinks, like, it's good, it's good. I'm sucking up to her, it's good. I'm telling her it's a good choice. And then, wait, what? And then with that lean over into that, and then she tells him, no, this is not, this is the plan. I want this whole team to fail. Spoiler. And I love this, that reaction going into this whole thing. There's no sound. He doesn't say anything. He says here, pardon me, but then here he doesn't say anything. This goes back into pantomime, into a massive anticipation of, he wants to say something, wheels are turning, he's like, what? But he doesn't say it. So again, for your character, have them react, show the thought process. It can be something where they want to say something, but they can't. They're completely stuck in their shock, but you can still start to do something with facial shapes as they're listening to the character, whatever the character is saying in your scene. This one I want to throw in there because I make this example every time in class when we talk about putting a character into an environment, right? I'm a big fan of, I'm not a massive fan of a character in an empty scene. I've seen many shots where they look fantastic. I'm not saying this is not something you can do, or there aren't great shots out there. But what I like about putting a character within a set, or using with props, which we'll get to that later, is that you can decide if the character here is in this environment for the first time or not. And my example to the students is always, you come home and you open the door, you want to actually switch on the light. This is exactly what he's doing here. And if you are in a familiar environment, he could just use his arm here, switch on the light, because he knows where things are. That's his home. He's been there 1,000 times. This, in his case, is a new place. It's a hotel. So he has to wait and look and search and then switch it on. And then you got the whole thing of, I'm seeing this for the first time. Eye darts, scanning around, blah, 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 blah. This could be while you do lip sync. This could be a secondary action with whatever you have within the character. And he does this twice. He goes in, the same thing here. He enters, has to look, and then probably assumes, because the other one was already on his right side, that, okay, it's here, and then that. But the main thing is that the character is looking at the thing that he or she needs to operate. And again, if you're home in your own place, you wouldn't do that because it's muscle memory. You know where things are. So think about that generally. The general note here is that think about, is your character environment that is familiar and not familiar, because that is going to change the acting choices. This one is a great example of a character listening, processing things. You can see this in his eyes. You can see, but this is, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but he calls his wife, and look at this. Look at those eye darts here. All of that. He's listening. So that's just something I want to throw that in there, that when you have your character listen, because your character should always be listening either to another character that's on screen, another character that's off screen, or a character listening to a phone, whatever your scene is, make sure that they are processing whatever another character is saying, whatever environmental influences, there could be noise, whatever it is, and then make the choice of, well, is it going to be just a staring thing of, whatever power, this is a status thing, or there's so much information to process that you're gonna have a lot of darts in there. Same thing with blinks. You can see this here, wait. He has that moment of, you can see a slight head shake, and a lot of little, it's not like full blinks, but he blinks and has a lot of flutter in the eyelids. So again, this is all of there because it's listening to something that is kind of too much for him to process at this point. So just think about that when you have your character, especially when it's close up. How much you blink and why, how many eye darts, and is it because the character is processing or not, or shocked or not? All those things are super important because again, you are in charge of every single frame. You can see this here as he stops, but he has a moment of a little bit of a stare, just a little bit, less processing, and then, okay. And you can see this here. It's almost like the anticipation of, okay, I have processed, and I'm going to say yes. And that's why he has less eye darts. Like, okay. I got everything into my brain. I have realized and processed what is going on, and now the choice. This is about props because I love them, or just set pieces. So she tells him, like, okay, I love those little cookies that, spoiler, I'm gonna say what's going on with them because it's a great moment in the scene too. And he goes, that's right. And he's always the optimistic guy. And as he gets out, look what he does to this thing here. So it gets out and she knows, and high five tree. Love this. There's an absolute optimism to this character throughout this whole season. Spoiler. And he just uses this kind of could be, seen as a little hand, and he goes, hey, high five. Like, to him, everything around him is something to celebrate, to be positive about. And that's just a great addition to his character. He could just walk out, but no. Like, why would you high five a tree or something that, it's like there's a clothes hanger? But why would you do that? Just, again, adds something to the character. And I love this because it is usage of a prop to reveal more of a character. It's not just the prop to be a prop there. So if you put something in a scene, be it, a door, again, an environment, or a prop like this, is it there to reveal more of the character? Because that to me is more interesting than just putting in a plant. Back to her and these, again, I don't want to spell it too much, but she is trying things out, but she wants to figure out where he gets them. And this is not what I want to talk about. It's actually this, but this is also just, if my students right now have a lot of classes and students are asking me, what should I do for my shots? And this could be something where, well, if you have a rig that has really good facial features, what if the character is trying something out? It's food, and you have all those, like all that change. She goes through and you think it's good, but then you got the, it's not good. And she goes, no, this is not it. And then it's the spitting out, and I love that reaction. Like, he doesn't want to hear or see this. It's great. But that's just as a different idea. You can do something like this, where it's trying something out in terms of taste, and you can do a lot within the face and facial features for animation. But anyway, what I want to say is that she's trying all of this, and then she hears that Ted is coming back, and she's got that scrambled. I got to clean this because I don't want to show that I'm trying to figure out where those little cookies and things that he brings here every day come from. The reason why I'm showing you this is because you can hear his voice early on, and this is why she reacts. And I like this idea of the lip sync that you have, you actually don't animate to it just right now. It's more about a character reacting to the lip sync and then doing whatever. In this case, she wants to hide something. So in your case, you can do whatever you want to, obviously. But I like this kind of two-parter of one, I'm hearing, reacting, got to do something, and then part two, entrance, and now you got the actual lip sync and kind of a pretend thing. It's clean. It's kind of a, this is what I'm really about, and this is what I'm pretending to be. So I kind of like this whole structure of this scene, and of course he's always awesome. But that's to me an interesting setup for a potential lip sync shot. Now, sticking with this, again, he comes in every time, and she is just so in love. She just can't wait. You can see this, that face. He brings it in, and then look at this. She gets her arms out. It's such a give it to me, please, begging. She's at this point almost so addicted to those. And I love that too, where it's not just from an animation point of view, I'm gonna bring out my arm because I gotta take this, and maybe there's a locator and a constraint, and blah, 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 blah. This is more about, okay, if I'm grabbing this, how am I going to animate this? Both arms out. Okay, I would say twinning, but in this case, it's fine. You can bring this out because she really, really wants this. She doesn't even wait. She opens up her hands and her fingers. She just really, really wants this. And once she has it, look at this. She doesn't even wait. She loves it so much that she wants to smell what's inside through this. So this is, to me, again, a usage of prop to show how much she loves what's in there. And it's not just grabbing this and opening and then eating it, but no, she is so obsessed with this. She needs to smell this. And you can see this, she already puts that arm down to sit down, but she keeps that on her face. And then she's already eating. Watch how she eats. Like, she has barely any air. She's just inhaling the whole thing. And even bringing this closer to her, everything has to be all about this. It's such a great expression, such a great moment. So again, for me, I love props, but it's there to kind of show how much she loves it. It's not just, a phone there, just something to put down there. It's all there to show how much she loves that. Of course, within the show, it tells us more about their relationship over time, but I thought this is just a really great moment of showing like a body anticipation before getting it, and just the absolute obsession with, I love this, to a point where I'm gonna keep this on my face so I can just inhale this until I can actually eat it and then completely devour this thing. Switching to a totally different character, and this little things like these, this little a tiny reaction in the eyebrows, great. But I want to talk about him because he has an absolutely fantastic walk. He's got that very dominant shoulders out, arms out walk all the time. He's always very kind of stiff in here, but really broad moves in his arms. And the reason I'm showing you this is because he's there with his daughter, and I love this moment. Look at what he does with his arm. Bing! Love that. He's just so stiff, and I'm bringing out my arm, and I'm not going to look if she is there, if she's catching up. She has to run up to him to hold his hand. And this is all about just pantomime body acting, nothing in the face. But I love this long held moment with the arm. And again, it tells us something about him. I'm not have to look, you are going to come to me. And this is something you can do with kids and adults. It could be something where it's a person of authority, you know, waiting for a handler, an assistant. There's so many things you can do with this. But I love this very, very clear communication with his body acting with a really nice hand shape here to get to that. Speaking of pantomime and reveal, I so love this. So this is like multiple stages of just genius. So she has already a bit of a flirtatious look, with that long look where she waits with a slight head down. And then you can see him, hey, thank you. And he got that little tiny wink because he's usually not that confident. It's already funny to see this, but it's a great pose. Nice line of action here, bit of asymmetry. Has that wink, you're like, yeah. She has a look they hold, you know, you can see the eye contact. For you, it's like, how long do you hold the eye contact? How many times do you blink? So a lot of long stares. And then he drinks this. Yeah, thank you. And she goes away. And then you have his reaction of, bleh, he can't drink all that alcohol. It's not just a little bit, it's all of this. You can see the white. Here's such a change of expression, such a building of hello, yeah, thank you. All right, that's great. Oh my God, this is horrible. And after all of this, you have that. He comes in, say, oh, thanks for the drinks, which he just spit the whole thing back. So it's his reaction of, oh no, this is not good. And then after this, okay, let me go. And then bam, reveal of these two guys. And I love this. That look here and his reaction with the laugh is such a buildup of pretending. It's such a good, just pantomime pretending acting. Then the change of, oh my God, this is horrible. And then, oh no, he took this to a big reveal through the camera of people watching him and then reacting like this. It's just such a great little mini sequence in of itself, but something for you to think about. Again, that gear change, pantomime, pretending, reaction to things just cracks me up. All of this, so good. And if you think that this is the actual joke of the shot, no, you can continue with one more thing. And when you think that is really done, it's one more thing through a reveal of camera. Again, this is why I like adding camera movements to your shots as well. It doesn't have to be a crazy 360 thing for action. It's just something where you need a reveal because you don't want them to be in the scene. They need to be revealed through a pan over there. So good. Back to him because he's awesome. He is being asked to give an opinion. So he's like, oh, okay, cool. That's exciting. I want to do it. And he tries to be all cool. And it's this failed sit down on this. He goes, oh, okay. Yeah, it's okay. And then he keeps on talking. And the great thing to do here is that look at him, right? So he has that little look down, looks at him, almost like a bit of a lean away because he kind of senses how he gets to him. He's very shy. So that's kind of very in character of him to lean away. Okay. And then looks at him, has a little slight dart there. Okay, what is he going to do? And when it fails, look at him. That little, ooh, okay. Eyebrows up. Okay, let me get out of the way because you're getting a bit close here. And then it doesn't work. And that's a little slight adjustment. And then look back. And I love through all of this, just the play between the two. It's very subtle with him. And him that kind of fail. And he doesn't make a big deal out of it. He goes, oh, okay. And he has that little moment of, no, it's okay. I'm okay, kind of telling him a little bit, okay, I'm okay, I'm fine, and continue with this. So to me, this is something where you can have, of course, your lip sync, right? As we always talk about, do your lip sync, whatever you want to do. And through all of that, you can do your secondary action where he does a certain business while talking. And it doesn't really interrupt the lip sync, but again, it tells us something about, it's just very awkward, and it kind of, just that reaction there, just the awkwardness of him saying something. It's just like an extra layer where he wants to pretend to be a certain way, right? You can pretend through your face, but your body is actually telling the truth in terms of how awkward you are or confident, or whatever it is in your scene. Also, this is great too. I love just him, the reactions and the looks, like tiny little things in there. But anyway, I just love that character. And with this one, it's the reveal of Him getting over there and realizing, wait, we forgot someone throughout this whole ride. He's in there and opens up. I like how luggage comes out first and then he comes out of here. Spoiler, it's a funny moment there in the scene, but the reason why I'm showing you this is this. I love this because he was stuck in here. And once you close this, this is pitch black. It's dark, there's no light coming in. So for him to come out, yes, of course, he will be extremely blinded by the sunlight. He isn't because he's used to the light. He was sitting in there, he's sitting wherever he sits here. There's sunlight coming in. So that is something where if your character is stuck somewhere where it's dark and comes out, that would be the natural reaction. Even if the character is coming out of a building where it's very dark and goes out into the sun, this would be a good reaction. I love this because the character is reacting to outside environment influences. So this is, in this case, blinding light. This could be winds, this could be heavy rain, hail on his face. I mean, there's so much that can be, influencing your character as your character gets out of a building, out of a bus or a truck, whatever it is. But think about that as you put your character into a scene, that character is going to be completely aware of everything. Temperature changes, sound changes, the other characters. And I think that to me always kind of opens up the character, makes the character more aware of what's going on, just a bit more alive versus just character you plop into a scene that kind of moves around and it's kind of, does some motion that is not quite exploring or using the most potential of the character within whatever environment. And there's so much more in this show. So if you can watch Ted Lasso, it's fantastic. The optimism is great. The acting choices, the pantomime, there's so much good stuff here. If you watched it, let me know in the comments if you find other things that you love about the show or about the characters. Was it just absolutely fantastic? Speaking of fantastic, if you thought that this was fantastic and you want me to work with you to put those kind of things into your shots, you know the drill. I have workshops and you can sign up for those at any time. Link in the description with all the information. So if you want me to help you with the shots and make them more awesome than they already are, feel free to sign up and let's work together. Speaking of together, we've been together for a long time because this is probably one of the longest acting analysis clips that I've done ever, I believe. So if you're still watching, thank you so much. I appreciate the time that you put into watching all my clips. And if you want to just watch more and don't want to miss anything, you know the drill. I have to say it. Subscribe if you want to or not. It's totally up to you, but I would love it. It helps my channel grow. And I'm going to leave it at that. Enough pitches for now. This is really, really long. So I'm going to say bye until my next upload.